Hi. Okay, notification. Um, Hi, my name is Gary Sexton, and over the course of a couple weeks we've been doing this assignment. I really um looked up to this speech in a way. It's really something that means to me. Something that really digs down into my heart and really makes me think about it. Uh, But anyways, for my intercultural speech, I've chose to use the topic of the Jordanian people in the Middle East and how their culture is used there. Unfortunately, we don't have a Jordanian person in my county, but my stepdad, who was in the military, he was deployed over there for a whole year and a half, and saw the lifestyle and the culture and the way that the Jordanian people ran things down there, not only in a military perspective but in a lifestyle perspective as well. He wasn't only just there to serve the military, but he was also there to help the housing of people, make sure they're safe and all this, check up on them because they're our allies. But, however, culture is a very important to our day and age. Many people go through many different cultures and lifestyles. However, one culture that sticks out to me is obviously the Jordanian culture. The Jordanians have a very complex lifestyle that consists of, family. Family is the center of Jordanian lifestyle and culture. Usually families with the most people in it get desired the most. So, 1 to 2 kids, or like nephews, nieces, they don't really get seen as a big figure in their lifestyles. Typically because I feel they do not believe if you have a less amount of people, you're not a very trustworthy family in a sense, because typically over there, the more family you got, the more settled down you are, the more trustworthy you are, the more that you show like to your religion. So families with like 5 to 6 kids, 7, up in those ranks, they get looked at the most. The men really get looked up to a lot in it. However, women, they are still a little oppressed in that society, even though they are equal. But men typically do get looked up more to than women. Next is, their lifestyle in the COVID-19 pandemic. The Jordanian people changed their nutrition. Sorry, I got interrupted, and I don't want to restart because I was 3.5 minutes in. But however, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Jordanian people changed their nutrition and eating habits to stay in good physical shape during the time COVID was at its peak. And how they did that is, usually they all eat well. They don't really have struggle in finding food and eating in that sense, but they typically eat a large amount. So what they did is found healthier foods and ate them in smaller rations, but more throughout the day, which, in a sense, it doesn't use as much. You still have your other foods that they eat for special occasions, but on their day-to-day basis, they chose more healthier foods that kept them slim, kept them in shape and stuff like that, because typically Jordanian people don't like to be bigger. They like to stay more toned down. They're not like us in the U.S. where our health regulations are not like, I wouldn't say non-existent, but they're just not as good as what they used to be. However, third reason, Jordanian people really don't have a middle class. They are usually in a high tier palace or home, or they live in the streets in a rundown house. And this came from the interview of my stepdad. And like I said, not only in the military's perspective, he saw the lifestyle of them. And what he could really tell me is, hey, there's no middle class. And like referring back to number one, family is the center of the Jordanian lifestyle. So typically these people who live in a palace or home, they actually probably have more, kids, more family that show they're trustworthy, and the people, one kid or whatever live in the streets or the rundown house because typically not as, much trustworthy. However, that's my intercultural speech. Hopefully you enjoyed it, if you stuck around for the whole thing. But based off what I just had from my resources, I try to do the best I can, even though it's kind of a very complex, topic to talk about. But however, I hope you enjoyed, and see you.